Hello, my name is Scuria-Herman, and today I'll be checking out the next video on this playlist, Hot Dogs by Aesop.
We're
And this one comes with subtitles. That's nice.
we're so excited we don't know what to do because we're about to re-enter the level above human.
I couldn't have had a better life than I've had these 21 years. And if it was good here, I know it's going to be twice as good when I get up there.
This isn't a troubling circumstance. Don't take it as that. It's just a gateway, just a doorway.
What we're doing is we're going home. We're going home to those individuals who sent us here to do this task. And this is the happiest and joyous thing that you can.
Okay, before I jump in, like the last video, this narrative intro to start here. I'll read this out, but I might not keep it in the video because it is just words and I already read it in the subtitles, so it's not much I missed, but I'm gonna read it out real quick, then I'm gonna comment, as I normally do on this channel. I don't know if you're new here or anything. We're so excited we don't know what to do because we're about to re-enter the level above human. It couldn't have had a better life than I've had these 21 years, and if it was good here, I know it's gonna be twice as good when we get up there. This isn't a troubling circumstance, don't take it as that, it's just a gateway, just a doorway. What we're doing is we're going home to those individuals who sent us here to do this task, and this is the happiest and joyous thing that you can. I mean, it's hard to say really, like specifically, there's obviously, you're saying 21, gateway, and then obviously what was happening in the video itself. There's obviously reference to substance, I don't know if I'm going to say substance abuse, but substance use at minimum. That much is clear through what's been portrayed so far. It's hard to tell if this is all from the same perspective or different perspectives. It sounded like it was different voices. Not much to comment on here yet. But yeah, really interested in where this goes. Also, I really paused quick. To be fair, to my credit, I didn't pause in the intro, which people have criticized me before. But I just want to comment on the musicality because I always forget to do that. Musicality-wise, I do like that the pitch and pacing of it matches the theme of this sort of like substance use. It's like dragging a little bit, but in a good way. You know what I mean?
Raised on dirty hot dog water and popcorn butter. EPMD telling me every pop star a sucker. Don't let him smell the pot stickers, he'll stick around for supper. He'll stick around for cheesecake, then 3 days, then the summer. Where spiders eat their mothers, where rodents eat their young. I'm not here to make sense where there is none. That's dumb. My attitude is...
I was gonna say, you're really a homeless person? No, the homeless person is just Aesop.
Ghastly, any gallantry been going on. I think I'm probably a lot like dating Molaram. I should work on that. The geezer.
Alright, let me read through these. Alright, raisin dirty hot dog water and popcorn butter. EPMD telling me every pop star is sucker. I don't know what EPMD is. There's an artist who denounces pop music, according to Genius. Don't let him smell the pot stickers, he'll stick around for supper, he'll stick around for cheesecake, then 3 days, then summer. That's going back to the hot dog water line with lifestyle, sort of. Where spiders eat their mothers, where rodents eat their young. I'm not here to make sense where there is none, that's dumb. My attitude is ghastly and gallantry been going gone. I think I'm probably a lot like dating Molar Ram, I should work on that. So, I feel like this is sort of like the perspective of a new adult, if that makes sense. This sort of idea of like someone growing into their own from like a fresh ideal of what they want to do. And that's sort of like the perspective that I'm getting from this video so far too. And especially the next line that we haven't heard yet, that's on screen right now. The geezer, not a leader, I'm a loner. I feel like that really plays into that as well.
You're not a leader, I'm a loner. Lover,
Does he play every extra in this?
believer, upholder of the under. Just not a people person, please forgive me if I'm flustered. I'll save 1,000 whales before your grits are even buttered. My name is Aesop Rock, I've been a mess for my entire life. All I know is
I really
fighter.
like the echo on that, that was cool.
This is more than band-aids over itsy bitsy bleeding hearts. This is GNR announcing Jesus Christ on lead guitar. Finding
He
Heather
really
Hunter.
is every single extra. I like how he looks so like taken aback at every time that like he like this skateboarder like jumps over anything of his, like the car, his feet, or the construction equipment. Every time it's just like it's just it's not a criticism. I just find that funny, just the over dramatization of that.
Something this depraved is not a product of a loving God. Periwinkle Pegasus threw rat-infested Lego bricks. Hug his mother briefly, then we're off to see The Exorcist. I will not be checking messages. Why should I be? Special.
Huh. Alright, I already said the geese are not a leader, I'm a loner. Lover, believer, upholder of the under. Just not a people person, please forgive me if I'm flustered. I'll save 1,000 whales before your grits are even buttered. So again, it's ideal over reality, because we're looking at a new adult here. At least that's my perspective of it. Especially because him as Aesop Rock as an observer is like it's every observer in this. If we're looking at that and we're taking it literally, we're looking at someone who is striving to achieve a real life, but doesn't have that yet. My name is Aesop Rock. I've been a mess for my entire life. All I know is fight or flight. Yeah, I think that the idea there, we're looking at, again, if we're looking at this from a substance angle, fight or flight, we're looking at neurotransmitters, we're looking at disrupting your reflexes. And when he said Aesop Rock, that was when the echo kicked in. That was when it reverberated in this sort of like, I took a dreams, memories, hallucination class. That's when the sort of like, you're under the effect of a hallucinogenic drug sort of kicks in. It's just that sort of trope, I guess, even though I wouldn't really say this is tropey. This is more than band-aids over itsy bitsy bleeding hearts. This is GNR announcing Jesus Christ on lead guitar. Every time Jesus Christ shows up, I guess this is just like what I've been like learning in college, but I feel like it's very worthwhile to point out every Christian reference in here, because I think there is something underlying there. Like St. Augustine's Confessions, as a religious text, it exists differently from a literary text. And looking at it literarily, the concept of like the church as mother, those sort of concepts permeate the barrier between religion and literature, and its themes and tropes that sort of persist. And I think it's interesting, even if like you're not a religious person, it's interesting to note the religious undertones of certain parts like this. Finding Heather Hunter still inside your college VCR. I do not know who Heather Hunter is, but I know what a VCR is. I'm not that young. All right. So yeah, Heather Hunter, just like EPMD. I got all the letters right at least. EPMD, another musical artist. Something this depraved is not a product of a loving God. I mean, I don't want to harp on it, but I do feel like okay, I'm gonna harp on it, which is ironic for talking about Christianity. Jesus Christ on lead guitar, not a product of a loving God. I want to break down these lines here. If we're looking at this as the ideal of a new adult striving to achieve a real life, but not knowing what that means or how to ascertain that, and then we're looking at it from a religious perspective, we're looking at someone who was raised on these beliefs and goes out into the world and doesn't find those beliefs reflected. We're looking at someone who is raised on Jesus Christ on lead guitar, which means this religious figure being at the forefront of your perspective of the world, of the song of the world. and then you go out into the world, and a world, and your perspective now isn't a product of a loving God. Because of those ideals you were raised on, and because of the reality you're being faced with as a new adult, how your dreams are being crushed in that manner. So, I'm not saying this in sort of like, you know, zealot perspective of like coveting religious icons. I'm saying this in a way of this character is someone who was raised on these beliefs, and then in the absence of those beliefs finds himself lost. Periwinkle Pegasus through rat-infested Lego bricks. Hug his mother briefly, then we're off to see The Exorcist. I will not be checking messages. Why should I be? I really like that line. Why should I be? I don't really have analysis for it. I just like how he said it just up here.
Messages. Why should I be?
Why should I be? I just really like his delivery there, because it's not what I anticipated. I was checking to see if I got any of that right. Jesus Christ on lead guitars, apparently a reference to another musical artist that I didn't know. So maybe not a reference to Christianity, but I feel like paired with the lyric of not a product of a loving God, I think it flows well like that. And I still stand by what I said, even if it's wrong, because I think that music is open to interpretation. And that's just the interpretation I'm going with. Alright, last verse.
Special is as special does. You aren't special just because.
Is that Aesop?
Yes, your mother said you was. That's pretty much what mothers does. Someday I might find a plug to roam the earth with 0 strings. Cut the tether, float this feather over eastern seaboard winds forever. Like seaborn kings invested in the froth and fog. They'll talk of his adventuring and call him things like salty dog. He freed like a bajillion prisoners from some secret haunted vault. Always had an elder puff, never yelled get off my lawn. Full disclosure, I don't even have a lawn. If I did, I'd probably grow the grass until the house was gone. Kick it to the town, forget the address or the house at all. This is how performance art exacerbates an albatross. I should maybe shake some hands, I should turn the music down. Have some people over without asking them to move a couch. But since you're here, I've got this awful futon I could do without. Should take like 2 seconds.
I was worried about what he was going to do with the dog, and then he just took the dog. I guess that's the dog. Was it his dog? Did he just steal someone else's dog? Is it no one's dog? Why did the dog have a leash? These are the questions I want answered. Alright. Special is as special does. You aren't special just because. Yes, your mother said you was. That's pretty much what mothers does. Someday I might find the pluck to roam the earth with 0 strings. Cut the tether, float this feather up over eastern seaboard winds forever. Like seaborn kings invested in the froth and fog. They'll talk of his adventuring and call him things like salty dog. He freed like a bajillion prisoners from some secret haunted vault. Always had an L to puff. Never yelled get off my lawn. Okay, before I get into the lawn part, just looking at this. I mean, it's classical literature references. We're looking at, like, you know, sea change, adventurers, simplification of colonizers and conquerors and stuff like that. But yeah, I like that part. I don't really have much comments on that. Always had an elder puff, never yelled get off my lawn. Full disclosure, I don't even have a lawn. If I did, I'd probably grow the grass until the house was gone, kick it till the town forget the address or the house at all. As someone who never wants to be a homeowner and has no ambitions of homeowning, I agree. I have no interest in a lawn. I'm trying to think, like, if I had a lawn, what would I do with it? And I feel like I shouldn't have a lawn because I would only misuse it. Like, not in a way that's like, oh, I would, like, be awful to the lawn. No. I mean it in how I'm not that much of an outside person to the point where I would use a lawn to its full extent. Like, I don't like barbecue. And also, like, in New York City, there's never gonna be a lawn that's affordable, that's like a big size, so there's not really much you could do in it anyway. And I feel like there's many more people that could make better use of it than me. So, I got off track there, but let me get back on track. This is how performance art exacerbates an albatross. I should maybe shake some hands. I should turn the music down. I have some people over without a skin them to move a cat. A skin, yeah. Piganometry. Have some people over without asking them to move a couch. But since you're here, I've got this awful futon I could do without. Should take like 2 seconds. Yeah, this last part. I think lawn came from a personal place, but it could work for that character too. But this last part especially, I feel like was very much new adults, sort of like learning to live in this urban environment alone. There are 2 ways to look at music. You can look at it through a perspective of, I have to be correct, I have to be right about 100% of this song, I have to know every detail, I have to understand all of it, and it has to be the author, the lyricist's, the songwriter's perspective as well. And I have to agree with them and they have to agree with me, and we all have to be in agreement about what these lyrics mean. Or you can look at it from the perspective of these songs have meaning, but that meaning exists in this temporal state of flux. It exists in this amorphous sort of ideology of it has a meaning, but the meaning is different for every person that hears it, because no 2 people can hear the song the same way. And to try to force everybody to hear one song when every song contains an infinitude of music, I feel like is reductive. So am I right? No, but I also don't know if I want to be. But that being said, let's see what other people had to say about it. I was thinking that this is the only good comment of this one too, but I don't know if I don't think I didn't make the joke, but when I saw the dog after so many of the extras played by Aesop, I was gonna ask, is the dog played by Aesop too? I thought that was funny. That's it. That I'm gonna like that one. People didn't really have any original opinions in the comments. It could be because they're scared to provide their own perspective on it and they want to wait for others to tell them what the song means. I personally think that any perspective of the song, I mean, you could look back at the vast catalog of videos I've made. You could look at my video on rings, on I don't know, Shrunk. You could look at all of these videos and just like completely disagree with me. There's people who do that, and I think that that is perfectly fine, and you kind of should disagree with me. I think that if, regardless of what I said, you agree with me, that would be a little strange, and I'd have to question why you'd agree with me. In fact, I'd trust your word more if you disagree with me. I don't know if I ever said this specifically, but the reason why I brought that up is I think part of the reason why I proceed this in this manner is because that whole thing of ideal of a new adult is something I'm going through. Maybe not in the perspective that was brought up in this song, but I think the situation you're in life influences the way you experience other things. So I don't think I'm unbiased here. I think I absolutely have a strong bias to my personal life experience, but I do think that there is some merit, at least in my perception. But if not, do let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's all from me. So until next time, adieu.